Good evening from the heart of Liberal Union and the nation's capital, where the frost on the reflecting pool is matched only by the chilling political tension inside the halls of the 119th Congress, a scene that feels less like a legislative body and more like a high-stakes war room as 2025 draws to a volatile close. I'm your host, and tonight we are tracking a legislative whirlwind as lawmakers race against a midnight deadline to avert a partial government shutdown while simultaneously grappling with a foreign policy landscape that is shifting beneath their feet with tectonic force. The headline of the hour remains the final passage of the massive $901 billion National Defense Authorization Act, or the NDAA, a record-shattering spending package that authorizes a 4% pay raise for our service members, a move widely seen as a victory for military morale, but one that has ignited a firestorm of constitutional debate over a lock-in provision specifically designed by a bipartisan coalition to prevent the president from withdrawing forces from NATO territories or South Korea without a supermajority in the Senate. This direct challenge to the America First isolationist posture has sparked a flurry of signing statements from the White House, with the president asserting that the commander-in-chief will not be handcuffed by what he characterizes as a globalist legislative branch, setting the stage for a Supreme Court showdown over the separation of powers that could redefine the executive's role in foreign entanglements for a generation. Meanwhile, the energy on the House floor is electric and unpredictable as a high-stakes healthcare revolt reaches its tipping point. A courageous or perhaps politically desperate group of moderate Republicans has officially broken ranks to join forces with Democrats via a rare and aggressive discharge petition, aiming to bypass leadership and force an immediate floor vote on extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits that are set to expire in the new year. This internal GOP rebellion threatens the already fragile speakership of Mike Johnson, who finds himself caught between a hardline Freedom Caucus demanding total repeal and a pragmatic wing that fears a total electoral wipeout in the upcoming 2026 midterms if millions of Americans see their insurance premiums double overnight. Beyond the budget and the Beltway bickering, the air in the West Wing is thick with the fallout from a sweeping new executive order that has effectively suspended the green card lottery and tightened visa requirements for several nations, a move fueled by the administration's reaction to recent security breaches at elite universities. This has the Department of Justice bracing for a wave of constitutional challenges from civil rights groups and tech giants alike, who argue that the executive branch is overstepping its statutory authority to manage immigration without a new mandate from Congress. As the sun sets over the Potomac, the focus shifts to the Department of Justice, where the long-awaited and highly controversial Epstein Files have begun their staggered release today under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. This document drop is sending seismic shockwaves through both parties as unredacted flight logs, grand jury testimonies, and internal memos hit the public record, promising to expose names of high-profile associates who have successfully remained in the shadows for a decade. The political fallout is expected to be indiscriminate, hitting donors, former office holders, and cultural icons, essentially creating a scorched earth environment just as the 2026 campaign cycle begins to accelerate. In the background of these domestic crises, the geopolitical map is being redrawn with alarming speed as the U.S. Navy begins a maritime interdiction of oil tankers bound for Venezuela, an aggressive move intended to collapse the Maduro regime, but one that has international observers holding their breath for a potential naval confrontation with Russian or Chinese-flagged vessels. On the other side of the globe, the administration has just greenlit a staggering $10 billion arms sale to Taiwan, including advanced missile defense systems and stealth drone technology, a move that Beijing has already termed a red line crossed, leading to a suspension of all military-to-military communication between the two superpowers. Back in the capital, the great exodus of 2026 is the talk of the cloakrooms, with a record number of veteran lawmakers, including titans like Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, officially announcing their retirements, creating a vacuum of experience and institutional knowledge that many fear will lead to even greater volatility in the sessions to come. The atmosphere in the galleries is one of exhausted anticipation as lobbyists and activists scramble to secure last-minute riders on the omnibus spending bill, ranging from AI safety regulations that seek to preempt state laws to massive infrastructure grants for green hydrogen projects that the current administration is threatening to defund.
The sheer velocity of the news cycle today suggests that while the calendar says we are heading into a season of peace and reflection, the political machinery of Washington is geared for a winter of unprecedented conflict, where every vote is a proxy for the soul of the country, and every executive order is a gauntlet thrown at the feet of the judiciary. As we watch the lights flicker in the offices of the Rayburn and Russell buildings, it is clear that the traditional lame duck period has been replaced by a predatory legislative environment, where those in power are moving with a sense of urgency that borders on panic, aware that the window for major policy shifts is closing fast. I'm reporting from the steps of the Capitol, watching as a nation at crossroads prepares for a year that will determine not just the next election, but the very framework of American governance in an age of digital warfare, economic populism, and global realignment. The stakes have never been higher, the players have never been more divided, and the documents being released today may ensure that for many in this city, there will be no such thing as a happy holiday, only a long, cold season of accountability.